So we successfully got out of this jam, which means that the curiosity card goes in the power pile, but we also got 2 7s, which means that we unlock a secret room. Tell us what the secret room is, Steve.
It is the powder room. Intimate softness conceals the fragility of lost beauty. Which kind of makes sense that it'd be right off the master bedroom, right?
Yeah, here's something I'm going to say. The powder room belongs to that pirate captain.
Yes.
And it's, or maybe it was like this powder room attached to the master bedroom that was supposed to be for the lady of the house and very delicately done. And I think she has gutted it and turned it into an intimate space. It says the softness conceals the fragility of lost beauty. I think that's where she keeps her trophies.
Yep.
And we've discovered it. Just to put a little bit of a little bit of a twist on it and not fall into kind of like gender stereotyping and reinforcing those roles. Do you think we should take this secret? I definitely think we should take the secret room.
I definitely think we should take the secret room.
So in that case, we add that. Hang on, which is it? We add a black card to the power pile. That's right. From level 2. That goes over there. And then
so we're pretty well.
We're 4 to 1. But like I said, there's a balancing mechanic. So whatever level you're at, every time you proceed or add cards, you can add cards equal to that level to the other pile. So I think because we're on level 2, we should go right ahead and add 2 black cards to the peril pile. Do you think that sounds fair?
Let's do it.
So 1 and 2. As we pass through this powder room that's been repurposed as a trophy room, and I like the idea that perhaps on the vanity there's like maybe like little shelves where there would be tinctures and kind of things for kind of powdering one's nose, but there's like, things that she's taken from vanquished foes. What one thing do you see that is perhaps one of her most prized trophies?
Well, the first thing that came to mind, and feel free to strike this if this is too ridiculous, but I kind of like the idea of there being a huge like mirror, and then just like etched across it is dead men tell no tales.
Nope, I love it. I'm into it.
But as far as a trinket, something interesting to kind of note, I feel like there is a small, just stick with the theme here, there's a small music box that is kind of ornately carved and very beautiful, and it looks as though it's something that probably would have been given to like a French noble person's child. It's like very, very gaudy and ornate and beautiful, and it's just sitting there on the wall.
Love it. I know I'm not going to play it. I've learned my lesson. I think that there is like under one of the shelves there's a little rail that runs along it, and I think that there is a whole collection of hooks that, like some pirates would have had hooks for hands. Not all of them, but it shows how many people that she vanquished, that she's got maybe 6 or 7 in a row just hanging there. And I think that's pride of place for her. So left, right, or middle, Steve?
Let's go left.
Because we're going to have to turn all of these over. Doubles mean nothing anymore.
Yep.
Okay.
So we enter the Tapestry Hall. Threads of glory and conquest woven into myth and reputation. I mean, I feel like that is a natural kind of extension of this pirate captain's, this is their personal kind of trophy room, but then there's also just a whole hall that's devoted to maybe it's her conquests, but also the rest of the family's, mercantile conquests.
Well, here's the juice, right? Let's say that whoever built this place had a family tapestry that told their story, how they came here, how they settled this land, how they built this house, what they did. At one point, a certain point on this tapestry, it ends, and then it's taken over, and it's pieced together not through a tapestry, but by the sails of ships. And all these sails of ships that she has taken down, flags that she's of warships that she's commandeered, make up the rest of this fabric. And there's no attempt to tell her story with intricate pictures of people doing things. The items themselves tell their own story. Some of these are blood-stained masts, some of them are slashed. Probably one of them's got a thing where she did a cool slide with a knife down one, because she's a pirate. And that's what I think the tapestry hall looks like. I don't know if we want to lean into two sides again. One side has got the tapestry of the family, the other side has got the flags and the masts and those 100%. Things. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
And I think we have the mirror scene. Like, we both look at them, and Morwen turns to Cassian and says, "Let's watch our step, brother."
Indeed. And I think as he says that, we then hear a voice reciting poetry from unseen lips. What warnings does it convey?
That's a great question. I wonder whether, because obviously we had the music room and we had this shanty. Now, I wonder whether this is a remnant from the family. And I wonder whether the poetry that's being recited perhaps isn't a poem. I wonder whether it's like the family motto or something that's being repeated, like kind of over and over again. But what warning does it convey?
I mean, I think the warning that it conveys is that bloodlines can be cut short. That what was once great and powerful can be made to become like ash.
I love that very much, but I wonder whether, to bring it back to the haunting, a line in the poem talks about pools of blood, but also pools of water. And I wonder whether or not that's where we get this idea that, again, to go to the two sides thing, that there maybe needs to be blood spilled to counteract water, or there's something communicating through blood and water.
Yeah.
I wonder whether that's a thing. Maybe we can't quite make sense of it. And this is a great opportunity to use the Oracle button. So this is a wonderful feature of this virtual tabletop. And also, if you're playing this game analog, you've got cards on the table. And there's also, like tables printed in the book, which allow you to fill out these kind of sentences with the oracles. Anyone who knows me and Steve, we love a good oracle, don't we? But this one doesn't just give you a word or two words. This gives you a whole sentence or phrase that might help you. And I'm feeling like clicking on it, Steve. I don't know about you.
Go for it.
So this one says, "Surrender the furious order where the dawn ceases." Surrender the furious order where the dawn ceases. So the dawn ceases at the horizon, right?
Yep.
That's classic seafaring nonsense, right?
Yep.
I wonder whether there's a thing that's like about sailing over the horizon, or this horizon is some strange boundary that we're yet to understand. What do you think?
Well, I think that there's a big lighthouse out there that shines some sort of ghost light, and that light can't pass beyond the horizon. So I think it may very well be that there is some kind of liminal space when you cross that horizon. And
Well,
the surrender the furious order makes me think of like order and chaos, and like so often chaos is represented as kind of furious, and order is very like staid and kind of like calm. But I kind of there might be something there of like that inversion of order is furious and chaos, the chaos of the sea and kind of crossing that horizon is in and of itself like calming.
I wonder if it goes back to something we said at the start about the call of the sea and taming the sea, perhaps. And like the water changing when it enters the house means that that's where the chaos is reigning. And it's almost like it's crossed over into this sacred space, this sanctified space.
Yep.
And it's reacting in a strange way. And it's we have to surrender to it or bring order to it. And I think that's what this motto or this poem is telling us. But I think it's quite hard to make sense of in a mechanical sense of us playing this game, because it's quite an unusual series of words and things to make sense of. But also I think that's actually quite cool that like at this point both Cassian and Morwen would be even more perplexed as to all these extra layers that are adding onto it. But I don't think we've got too much time to dwell on that, because there's going to be some sort of horror coming and interrupting us. So what's that going to be?
It's the storm beast, because of course it is a massive energy beast that shifts between electricity and solid form.
Bring it to life for us, Steve.
So I mean, I think that we're hearing this voice speaking this poem, and maybe we have this brief moment where the two of us are kind of trying to parse through the words, and maybe we're asking each other these questions, kind of like trying to talk through it, much as we just did out of character. But time has marched on, and it's now probably past midnight, and it's dark outside. And then I think that there is a like flicker of light, but this time it's not that warming red glow of a candle. It is once again that light from the lighthouse, that ghostly blue light from the lighthouse turning around. But where we are, there must be a window or some avenue for that light to cast into this room. And so this almost cold blue light comes coursing in through a window or whatever opening there is. And in that flicker of the light as it passes by, this shadow kind of is cast along the floor of this hall, and then rising up from that shadow is this creature that is larger than both of us and is kind of suffused with that blue light, and is kind of flickering in between being this kind of bluish cold essence and this like solid demon looking creature that is now staring the two of us down.
I wonder if like I love it. I think the opening to the window should be a ship's porthole window. That's bolted onto the side of this house. I like the idea that the light comes in, and when I'm studying the tapestry, and I notice the change in the light, and I kind of just say without looking, no time for pyrotechnics, brother. And I think that you're just setting fire to something, and then I turn and we see this construct basically. So I think that it's shadow, it's crackling electricity. Is it got anything corporeal? Has it got bits of the building in it? Is it just shadow and this snapping kind of like arcing electrical thing.
I mean, I think that it does have some corporeality to it. But I wonder if it is, rather than it being like a piece of the building, if it's this like meshing of different like sea creatures. So it almost has this like wet and like slimy kind of appearance to it, as if someone took a different grouping of sea creatures and just kind of like smushed them together into some sort of eldritch horror.
It's a rat king, but the rats are electric eels. How about that?
That sounds great. I mean, it sounds terrible, but
yeah, I'm not looking. So, do you want to deal the first? We're gonna have 3 successes here.
Yep.
What's your first thing to do?
So I think Cassian just kind of says, "Brother," and then is going to immediately take off and kind of dash past this thing and try to like dance around it and then jump up behind it and like stab it in the back.
Okay.
I think the positive result here is that he does wound it. I think the less positive is that he wounds it, but some of that electricity like sparks up back through the dagger and it kind of blows him back across the room.
I can live with that.
2 4s.
Okay, the 4 is there is a cost, a tough choice, or a complication.
You have any ideas?
I think the cost is, you being out of it for a little bit. I think that as you go in, and obviously you can narrate this bit, but I wonder whether, in fact, you narrate this bit first, and then I'll kind of tack my little bit onto the end.
Yeah, I think it's basically exactly how I described it. As he like runs towards this thing. It's kind of like lumbering with these like weird tendrily eel heads that are stretching out from it, and they kind of snap at him as he dances past them. And maybe it's like close to one side of the wall, so he's able to take a couple of steps and like pull himself up with one of the masts that's like sticking out, and then he pushes off and slams the blade down in the creature's shoulder area. But as he stabs it down, something happens.
Yeah, I think you get launched back across the room and kind of slam you back into the wall that's got the ship's masts and the flags and stuff, and you slide down woozy kind of head. Your bell's been completely rung by this, and I think that as we see it, a little bit of the creature falls off and it becomes corporeal. It's an electric eel that just is writhing on the floor, but it's got your knife still stuck in it. So you have been separated from the thing that sets you apart from a normal human. Like that's the thing that is going to protect you and me, and it's now sticking in an eel which is wriggling around on the floor. I think that Morwen immediately goes for his cube, and he is going to try and conjure an illusion of a lightning rod, and he is going to see if he can make the this abomination drawn to the rod and in some way kind of like tether it there. But it's an illusion, so like it's just going to where it, like this copper rod, it thinks it's going to go, but it's just going to buy us some time to in some way try and get rid of this. I think that the positive outcome of this is that works, and briefly we get this creature tethered to this lightning rod. I think the downside is not only does it get tethered to the rod, it gets conducted and becomes more powerful. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that sounds terrible, which means we should do it.
Yeah. Fucking, what is it with me and doubles, man? So a cost, a tough choice, or a complication. So I think that what happens is the complication is that it works. I managed to conjure, I've got my cube. I'm holding it in the way that I do when I do this kind of little invocation thing, and I manifest this straight copper rod, and you can see the electricity starting to arc off this thing towards it. And I think it's so successful, this prestidigitation that I've done, that you can actually see the electric start to wrap around this lightning rod, which isn't real. But the problem is, I've just made 10 different rods that are now everywhere, and now this thing breaks off into 10 smaller versions of this thing. They're all not as strong, but like they are briefly all tethered, and now there are lots of them. There are 2 of us and 10 of them. And I think that because you're slightly out of this, I don't know whether you think you've got double vision and you're like, oh, this is just my head, like I can't see it. I'm gonna have to try and shut this down. Like, I really have to try and counteract my unintentional magic that I've made. So I think, and this is going to be something that is not taken lightly by Morwen, he is going to try and direct one of these electrical golems into the cube and then try and use it like a prism to cast the others out. He's actually going to use the cube as a weapon rather than trying to use it to manifest illusions. And to do that, I think he's physically going to have to get up close and personal to one of these things. And I think he grips it in his hand, and his hand starts to kind of like glow with the light that comes out between his knuckles. And he's just going to go and try and grab this thing by the throat. I think the positive result of this is that this works and takes out the multiples and reforms this creature down to one very weakened, larger creature. I think the negative version of this is that it happens, but I'm going to have part of this in the cube for the rest of the night.
Oof.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
I'm just going to roll double 4s anyway, so...
Hey!
I think I grab the nearest one, and Morwen looks at that dead in the eyes and sees these kind of this blue and yellow crackling light staring back at him, and he is like, out, I cast you out. And he feels the electricity coursing through him and then kind of just be dissipated in a blast, which gets rid of all of the iron conducting rods, the copper conducting rods, and like one by one they just fade like this until there is one left, and it just turns, looks at you, and screams.
Ooh, I love it. I think Cassian like shakes it off. He's like, I'm glad that double vision went away, and is gonna like get up and will race forward. I think almost in a race between like himself and this creature to see who can get to the dagger first. Obviously, the creature wants to just get to him and just bash him, but he's gonna try and like race forward, grab the dagger, like slide underneath its legs, and try to cut as he like slides past.
I really like the idea that, like, I know that we've tried to overcome many things while we're doing this, but I really like the idea that your dagger is kind of like a magic Swiss Army knife, like it can do anything against other things. And I really like the idea that it's now on the mode that will get it through this weird electrical construct. What do you think the stakes are?
I mean, I think the stakes, like the positive outcome is that once again he injures and like weakens this thing. I think
we rolled 3 successes, but this will finish it off. Whatever if you roll the red tie, so it's not about weakening it.
Okay, so then he'll strike it down, or I think that he tries to like slide under it, but it is going to like anticipate that, and it just like puts its foot down on him and traps him against the floor, and he's got this like electricity coursing around and through him, and it's gonna hurt.
No, I've got something better, Steve.
Okay.
I think that it's going to do that. It will trap you, and it will pump your nervous system full of electric and use you as a marionette to fight against me.
Yeah. Of course. Of course, that's exactly what happens.
So I see you trying to do
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
And then, like, I'm confident that you will succeed because we've been through this many times.
Of course.
You're a very capable person, and like whatever you do with that knife, I don't understand it, but I'm sure glad it's around.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I think there's just this swarm of movement around you as you hit the floor, and then I see you kind of raising slowly up. And you're like kind of hanging in front of this thing, and it's mimicking your movements behind, and it's kind of sending you towards me, swinging this kind of glowing knife. That's kind of like leaving this trail of fire behind. And I wonder whether I can see, like, there's this blue yellow light coming out of your eyes and your mouth, and this is no good. I'm gonna have to do something here.
Can I throw a little twist on that?
Yeah.
In that I don't think that it's like possessing him, in so much as I think some of those electric eels like dispersed from the body, and so they're wrapped around his limbs, and so he's conscious and like screaming in pain and agony as these things are hurting him, but they are like marionetting him because there's that connection between the creature itself and these extensions of it.
Okay, I'm gonna try and use my illusory power to kind of overload the eels, essentially, that are around you. And I think if I'm successful, then that will be enough to not kill this creature, but like weaken it sufficiently that it will return to where it came from and release you. The less good option is that happens, but the entire energy of this thing is going to be what fuels the boss fight. Like, you know, we've got these things that have been slowly adding to this, whatever this boss is. There's water, there's wind, there's electric, all these things that are together. And I think that we'll get rid of this thing, but it will, in some way, maybe its kind of puppeteering power will be part of what the boss can use against us. So are you happy with those stakes?
That sounds great. Nice.
You start to feel the eels on your arms, just kind of like they contract, I think, and they cut off movement to your arms, but then they suddenly just like dissipate in a fizzling burst of like sparks. When you turn around, you drop to the floor and you turn around. How do we see this thing look at us and give up the ghost of this fight?
So I think it looks at us and it takes another step forward to continue the fight, and you kind of like hold up the cube in that way, and you know, yes, that power that you have pushed through it to dispel these you know, like remnants that were on Cassian's body, you release that power again, and it like takes a step forward, and like other parts of it start to slough off, and then it takes another step and more parts start to slough off, and then it reaches a point where it realizes like every step that it takes is causing it to lose strength and power. And so I think at that point it just turns and retreats back into that blue, you know, it retreats through the window because the blue light hasn't come back around yet. But like there's almost like a flash of light as it escapes through the window, and then it's just a normal light in here, the candle light.
And I think that, like, do we think that this went well? This confrontation? No.
No.
In which case, we're going to add that to the peril stack. We're four in each. But
Yeah.
just to like try and get some sense out of what we've just faced. Like what do we think's going on here? What do we think? So we know that, we were called into this house because these ghostly apparitions, these faces were appearing in pools of water in the garden. Since we've been here, we have had that theme of water and elements, like, reinforced. We've had the idea that all these shipwrecks in some way are contributing to some kind of spiritual resonance in this house. There's the musical resonance as well. Is there in the music box as well? That might have something to do with it. Like, what do we think is going on here?
I think that whatever the supernatural threat is here is brought on by that tension between one side and the other. It's whether it's the tension between life and death, two families, the tension between acting in one way or acting in another way, the kind of upstanding family versus the cutthroat pirate. I mean, even music and elements are all held in a certain balance. And when those things become unbalanced, it creates chaos and destruction. And so I don't think we know yet, like, what this thing is, but I think we're starting to get the sense that it has to do with that tension between
the two sides,
whatever they are.
I've got like a good idea, and it's based on a real life story. So my friend moved to Canada, and he bought a house, and it was called the Boot. It was in like rural Nova Scotia somewhere, and it was a smuggler's house, and they were doing renovations, and they just kept finding these secret rooms and compartments, and nothing like sinister, like an untouched room, but like fake rooms that you could hide stuff in, right? Because they were bootleggers or whatever. I wonder whether all these things we found that have remnants of this old life, so like the music room, the powder room with the trophies in it, I wonder whether like some normies moved into this house, and they were like from a mercantile family or whatever, but this was secretly owned by a pirate captain. And I've now starting to get a slight idea of what this boss is going to be, no matter what we draw, of like how we can bring it to life. Because I wonder whether the pirate has in some way, this pirate queen, perhaps the reason she was smirking to us on the wall, has crossed someone or something that is after revenge. I like that a lot. We'll bear that in mind, and then we'll fucking pull the card that says it's a goblin or whatever. So we rush out of this room. Where to next?
Let's go to the middle.
Okay, we have got the library, a hushed maze of legends and wisdom. I think the idea of the legends thing there, I think it's a library, it's a map room. I think there is, it's navigational charts out on drafting tables. There's maps all over. Places that we recognize, and here's a little paint the scene question for you, Steve. What unusual map do we see that doesn't bear any relation to anything on Earth?
I mean, I think we see a map that is of like continents and a sea between them, but they're not any continents. The shapes of the continents are not anything in our world, and the sea is nothing like in our world. And there are writings, like script on this map, that is in a language, a script that we have never seen before, and looks totally alien to anything that we've encountered.
Lovely. I think that there's an open book on like a little pedestal, and that it's a street map of the city of Atlantis.
I love it. I love it so much.
What curiosity can we find in this cursed place?
Well, clocks run backwards, defying time. What future are they attempting to prevent?
You tell me.
I mean, so many ideas. I feel like, it could be that it's trying to run back to the time when this pirate captain lived.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now that you've introduced Atlantis, like, let's go back all the way there. What do you got?
I don't know, like, whether, like, we set this up weirdly without knowing any of this. Do you remember when I said this is the last cigarette that we have as if we're about to be executed? I wonder if this is running backwards, trying to defy the time at which this pirate queen was executed. I think she was caught by some imperial power, and she was executed at 1 a.m. or something, or midnight, and the clocks just keep trying to run back towards that. We don't know that. Out of character, we know that, but in character, no idea. What awful thing is going to befall us?
It looks like the ground shakes and walls tremor as if struck by an earthquake. Oh boy. So I mean, I think like books, if we're in a library with like a map room and stuff like that, like books could start shaking on the walls and start falling towards us. I mean, I think for us, like, the goal here is just to get through to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that there is maybe a part of Cassian, at least, who wants to like gather up, some of these strange maps to take. I wonder if
the Order might have use for some of these things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so set some stakes and roll some dice.
Yeah. So I think that Cassian's going to try to grab, the maps and stuff. So success, he's going to do so while like not getting clobbered by a bookshelf that's toppling. Failure is he's going to grab those, but he's going to get buried under that like avalanche of books.
I'm into it.
Oh yeah. All right.
What tome do you take?
I mean, I think Otherworld, Atlantis, like it's a hard pick. I think he grabs the book with the street map of Atlantis and just kind of like closes that, like tucks it into his coat, and then reaches for that other map, which is kind of set beside it, and the bookshelf careens down, and he kind of dives backwards and doesn't quite get a hold of that map as he rolls out of the way and starts booking it towards the other door.
Booking it, is it?
Booking it.
Yeah. I think that the floor starts to collapse and I can't follow you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just because I want to do this, I think Morwen is going to run to the bookshelf on the right-hand side of the room and jump up onto the ladders that are on rails and try and ride the rails as quickly as he can to get around the collapsing part. I think on a success, I will do that and I'll look fucking awesome doing it. I think the bad part of that is that I will do that. But I think you will drop that book that you've got. It will fall out of your coat or whatever, and you're going to have to do another roll to go back to it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I think maybe you hear me sliding on that thing and turn, and then whatever happens.
Yeah. So he like stop. Like I think he looks as he sees you sliding by, and he misses that there's the side of a table, and he clips it and kind of goes down, and he hears the book kind of land behind him, and it starts to slide, and he's going to dive back for it. And we're going to get into a situation where you're going to have to Sean Connery me and be like, Indiana.
Well, I think and I think that is just it. I'm with you, and I'm just like, this isn't worth your life, brother. Leave it. The order need only one thing, and that's for the evil to be gone from this place.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I think he's going to go for it, even despite your statement. But I think if he succeeds, he's going to grab it and is going to be able to like get back up on his feet and keep running. Failure, he's going to, and this is where we'll get into that situation. He will grab it, but he's going to fall and be like dangling on the edge of that opening.
I've got something a little more
juicy
to throw at you.
Right.
Either way, you do it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
On the bad roll, you do it, but you pick up a different book that fell off a shelf that you don't realize. And that book describes exactly how you are going to die.
Oh, I love it.
Let's roll the dice.
Yep.
So we did it. You've got a book.
I've got a book.
But unfortunately, that book's got some details in it that you don't like.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I'm not going to read it right now. So it may be moot. I may not get to read it before the thing that happens, and it happens.
Okay, right. So we need... I've kind of almost lost count of this. So I think 2 more, but like I think because you did it, you got a book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that 1 more roll will do this, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna just grab you and pull you out.
Yeah.
Red, it's all gravy. We're gonna tumble into the next room. Yes, it's got a boss in it.
Yeah.
Black, the bad dice. The book's going to fall on the floor and open at the page that reveals how you die, and I'm going to read it.
And it has an illustration as well.
Oh, yeah. Ready?
Yep.
It falls briefly on the floor, and I see
I don't think we say what it is.
No, because it might come true in the next room. I see it, and my face is just ashen.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of gathering it up, and then you have to drag me out, and neither of us have time to kind of process what I've just seen.
Yeah.
Before the whole library collapses in on itself, and we are going to face down the boss.
I'm leading to this. Yeah, I assume we want to put that into the peril pile there.
Damn straight.
Yep.
So we're going to face the boss with slightly more negative than positive.
That feels appropriate.
Let's see what room we're going to fight and how it's going to go down. Please tell me where this final showdown is going to take place.
It happens in the Knight's Hall.
That's something that doesn't quite make sense, right?
Yeah.
Given our setting, but like, how do we make this make sense?
So, Valor through clashing steel, battles within and beyond. I mean, I think that instead of it being the Knight's Hall, it is a like training room for, there's like cutlasses on the walls, there's like a fencing like dummy, a straw dummy with like cuts in it, and there is a kind of a whole display of different weapons that would be useful for a pirate to hone their craft.
I absolutely love it. I think a lot of the weapons have been taken from people that this pirate queen has bested in combat. And I think that's fantastic. I think it's quite a confined space. I think the idea of it being a hall doesn't quite fit, but I like the idea of this kind of almost this red room training place that she goes to keep her skills sharpened and a sword sharpened. What's the curiosity in the bottom?
Flowers wilt and bloom in an instant. Why are they accelerating the cycle of life? It's because time is funky. It's going forward and rewinding, and it's just, we're like trapped in a moment.
And I think all the flowers are funereal flowers. They're like, lilies and orchids, and I think they were the ones that would have been thrown out in front of this woman as she was led towards the gallows or the firing squad or whatever. And what is the boss of this place? What are we about to fight?
According to this card, it's Goliath, the Stone Sentinel, a gigantic golem made of the very stones over which the manor was built.
Well, we are going to alter that slightly, obviously, because... And I think that it's... it kind of has to be... And this was kind of the idea that I had earlier. I think that the pirate captain who took over this place briefly and lived here briefly enough, I think she captured a cursed ship. And I think that the Stone Sentinel is the remains of that cursed ship that has formed into this kind of like ship golem, this kind of animate wreck. All the parts of that particular ship have like found their way to this particular place and are trying to basically escape this house, get back onto the sea, or like return to the depths where it should have had its last.
I love it.
How does this tie into the original Signs of the Haunting then, with the puddles of water and the ghosts?
I mean, I think that the ghost faces that appear in that are the crew of this ghost ship. And
she killed them all, maybe.
Yeah, and probably killed them by like throwing them overboard so they drowned, which is why they show up in the puddles. And like we thought they were screaming. They were screaming, but they were also like their faces were like contorted in the pains of drowning, basically.
Oh, I've got something. I love that. That's great. I wonder whether the reason that this kind of construct of all these bits of this ship have formed is the entire house has been replaced with parts from shipwrecks. This is the only thing that wasn't shipwrecked. This was a ship that she stole, came back here, and then disassembled and used in the house. And then over time, it slowly started to gain sentience, and the spirits of the dead crew and the slain captain are perhaps what's driving it and animating it.
Yeah.
Sound good?
That sounds great.
Oh, I wonder if the biggest hook on that rail in the trophy room is the captain's.
Oh, absolutely.
That she killed.
And
Wonderful.
probably, the wheel on the bed headboard is probably the wheel from this ship.
This whole place is a kind of living embodiment of one person's power, essentially. And she's been taken off and executed for her various crimes, and now all those bits want out of this house. They want to be released from this power. Fantastic. So we're going to fight this, and this is how it works. We are going to roll dice. Again, good outcomes and bad outcomes. If we get a good outcome, then we remove one of the peril cards, which basically signifies how strong and how powerful the boss is. If we roll badly, then we lose one of our power cards. Oh my god, there's a beast. A beast has arrived to help us. A familiar is here to help us.
That's right.
Whichever deck empties first. that's how it shakes out. So if we get rid of all 5 peril cards, we defeat this boss. If it gets rid of all 4 of our power cards, then unfortunately we are not successful, whatever that looks like. How do we face off against this thing?
So it like forms in the center of this very small training room. I think based on all of that stuff that we talked about, it is in the shape of the captain, basically. It's like a humanoid form. The captain who was executed, or the captain who, the captain of the ghost ship. The captain that she killed. It's too many captains. So, like, you know, he has some weapon in hand, and maybe it is even his blade that was like so it forms along the wall, and then there's like a place of honor where this sword is hanging, and you know, this wooden hand kind of reaches out and grabs it off of the wall, and then it turns towards us. And Cassian is going to do the thing that he does best, which is he's going to charge forward and try to get inside this guy's defenses and stab him with that magical knife.
I wonder if the thing is bound with like rope and stuff, and I wonder whether like we might think about trying to cut them to try and separate this thing off. But also, I think that I really like the idea. It's much bigger than us. It's like maybe twice the size of a human. But I think that, do you remember I mentioned earlier there was the ship's porthole, the glass? I wonder if like the previous apparitions that we fought have all been like elemental. There's been water, there's been wind, and all that kind of stuff. They're part of this, and I think as part of it, there is a porthole where the face would be, and there is maybe a tricorn hat formed by like bits of wood. But I think maybe the portal is sprayed with a mist, and from that we can see the captain's face, this kind of howling ghost, kind of contorted in rage and kind of shambling towards us.
I love it.
Sound good? Right. I mean, we know what the stakes are. We don't really have to describe what the negative consequences are. But go for it.
Oh boy. Okay.
So what we do here is we lose a card from the power, and handily, each of these cards has got a little prompt on the bottom. Keywords: clank, symbol, impede, fortify, assault. You can use those if you wish to inspire how the animated form attacks you.
So I think that Caspian, that's my other pirate character. Cassian is he's graceful, he's fast. These are all things that make him very dangerous in combat. But it's hard to be fast and graceful when the floor itself like rises up to impede you. So he takes off across the room at this thing, and planks of wood from the floor break up or twist to try and throw him off his footing, to impede him as in his charge. And by the time he actually reaches the captain, he's stumbling, and the captain basically just kind of like backhands him and sends him careening back into a wall as he like cracks into the wooden frame of the house and falls down and kind of starts to pull himself back up to try it again or something else.
I think that Morwen's watching this and thinks about how unsuccessful he was with the lightning rods against the electric construct. But he thinks that, you know, having seen how enraged the captain is and how bloodthirsty the spirit of this captain is for revenge, he's going to try and multiply images of the pirate queen. He's going to, obviously he's seen her in the portrait. He's going to try and bring to life 3 or 4 of them to give this thing a focus, to give this golem a focus, because it wants revenge. The captain wants revenge against her. It's not actually us, it's her. And I think by doing that should at least give us some time to try and think of a better approach. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's one of the perils, so we can get that. And the keywords: rumble, unstable, price, resettle, core. I think that we see the instability of the construct as it's trying to catch these versions of her, right? And I think that Morwen's illusion isn't actually that good. They all look like a person and vaguely like her, but not quite enough. Maybe if he'd tried to make one, it would have been perfect. Because he made 3 or 4, they all look slightly off, like a little if you studied them closely. But that is enough to do the job. And I think this thing comes lumbering in, and as it does, we can see, and I think, like I said, we can see that it's it's lashed together with ropes, and there's connective, like the eels and their electric pulsing are there, and it's wet, it's covered in all this water, and we see all of that glistening water crackle with the electric energy and the spiritual energy, and maybe the blue light at this point floods the room again, right? And we see that maybe when the light sweeps across it, there is this skeletal spectral form underneath it. But what that light tells us as it passes is that this is still a thing of parts. It's not a whole, it's not cohesive. And if we can separate those parts and maybe banish the spirit or destroy those parts individually, that's how we're going to do this. And I think instinctively you kind of just know, and it gives you a chance to kind of get back to your feet and do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I think Cassian is going to take advantage of that distraction and is going to try and run up behind and, like you said, cut one of those lashings to remove a portion of this pirate captain.
Love it. So another peril card. We're now kind of on an even footing. Got some keywords that might help bring this bit to life.
Surge, Spark, Feral, Morph, Instinct. I think I'll use 2 of them, which is he's going to surge forward. So this time Cassian knows to kind of expect the treachery of the floor. And so he is able to anticipate and kind of outrun the twisting and gnarling of the floor. And as he reaches this captain, he is going to, on instinct, cut up and pull back on one of the lashings. And I think the captain's whole right side, kind of right arm, falls off with the blade and kind of clatters down on the ground. And maybe there's one of those eels kind of sticking out, sparking, as Cassian kind of gets ready to try and strike again.
I think seeing this approach work, Morwen realizes that perhaps a more direct approach is going to have to work. This is a thing made of physical objects, and if we can destroy those objects, then I think that's the approach that is probably going to work. So I think he goes to the wall of weapons, and I think he grabs this big barbed hook, and he's going to try and snare a part of this and maybe pull it free as he moves around behind. That hasn't worked. I think that I'm not as martially strong as you. I think that I move in with this hook, kind of spear it through its body, but don't hit anything. It kind of goes through a vacant space between the joints, and then Morwen thinks, well, that's okay, I'll just pull back and it will hook. But like, I think perhaps the hook breaks, it snaps in two, maybe the electricity like thing courses through it and just sends him like sprawling back as this long pole arm, essentially. In fact, no, I think he's pulled towards. That's what happens. It stumbles back and pulls him towards, and then gets close enough that with the half that's still remaining, this kind of animate ship, like launches Morwen, just smacks him against the wall and out of the way. What next?
I mean, I think that Cassian, watches Morwen go flying against the wall, and there's a part of him that's torn between like wanting to check on his half brother, while also knowing that the immediate threat is the thing that needs to be dealt with. So I think he just reverses the hold on his dagger and kind of tries to cut across on the other side to continue breaking apart the different pieces of this creature. That's another success. So we're 2 and 2 now.
It's tight.
Oops. There we go. Strength, pressure, greed, release, constrict. I think it is basically, as he says, like he cuts off another portion, and maybe it's like part of the leg comes off, and now it's almost like this captain has a peg leg, and is kind of like standing there wobbling a little bit, but Cassian is just a blur of steel and scale as he is dancing around this thing, cutting and carving away at the various pieces of it.
Amazing. I think that as you're going to work in this kind of frenzied assault, like I think the force of being thrown away and like kind of batted away has really kind of reinforced the idea to Morwen that he's not equipped to go toe to toe with this thing. Even he's not equipped to even kind of attack at range. He needs to keep doing what he's good at. And I think that he has this idea that as the phantom blue light from the lighthouse is about to make its next pass, he wonders whether there is a power in that, and he is going to try quickly to move around the room and rearrange all the like lanterns and anything glass into a sextant pattern, and he is going to try and focus the light of that phantom lighthouse and into this to try and kind of hit the abomination with this wooden ship golem with a concentrated beam of phantom energy. What could go wrong?
No, absolutely nothing.
So here's what I'm going to say. We rolled a double there. I think we need to get rid of 2 cards. So 1 from power, 1 from peril.
Oh, God.
So control shift, puzzle lost and found. I think that, this pale blue light comes through and it catches everything, including the cube that I'm holding. And the smoke shifts in such a way that it forms the shape of the sextant inside, and that's when I know that I'm keyed into this energy, and those beams kind of send across the room like this, and I'm watching them go one by one, hitting each thing, hitting a mirror. But that last one, that last little kind of like lantern, in fact, no, it's not a lantern. I think maybe it's like a crystal candlestick or something that is part of like the altar to the dead pirate captain. It catches that, but it's just so slightly off, and I think that beam cuts through a part of the golem, and a bit of it falls down, like maybe like its other leg. But it doesn't. The whole thing doesn't fall, because that phantom light is now reinforcing whatever spirit is inside. We see like wherever there is a limb missing or a part of it missing, it's replaced with this blue light phantom version. Maybe even the hook hand is back. The face gets stronger. It's now not like a vague shifting image. It's, you know, it's a really detailed spiritual recreation of this guy's face, and the legs reform and it rises up and stands over you, and it's now or never.
It's now or never. I think that as that blue light is suffusing it and it's reforming like that, there's also this, I think, realization that clicks into place for Cassian. And he reaches in and pulls out the fan and flings it open with its four metallic petals, and he slams it down on the wooden floorboard right in front of this creature, this abomination, in the hopes that the resonant harmonics of his own heartbeat will capture and force the spirit of this thing to leave this place and go back along the paths of light out into the sea.
I think that just before you do this, I think that a very strong image from that book is now at the forefront of Morwen's mind.
Yep. Every fucking time.
Okay. Tell us how we fail to cleanse this place of the spirit that haunts.
I don't think we fail to cleanse the spirit. But I think there is a slight imbalance in that resonance because of that extra pedal that was put in there by that song that you use to like calm the narwhal gargoyle. And it's just the right amount of dissonance that the creature is captured by it, and that spirit is wrenched out of this golem form, and for like a split second we see this long dead captain of this ship floating in this blue light. And it's that weird moment where like time is kind of like rewinding and restarting, where normally the flash of this light is over in an instant, but for this one, maybe two or three even heartbeats, this figure is floating in the air and begins to be pulled towards this window out towards the lighthouse. But as the captain's form passes by Cassian's kneeling, like bowed head, where he's kneeling with the pedal kind of like slammed onto the floor, this spectral hand reaches out and snags Cassian, and his spirit is wrenched from his body, and together the two of them are cast out through the ghost light lantern of this lighthouse over the horizon beyond the sea.
And that makes what I saw so much clearer in that book.
I feel like there is one last little tidbit.
Okay.
If this were a movie, right?
Hmm.
We see Morwen stumble out of the house, kind of look back, pull out a cigarette. Does he light it?
He does.
And that's Wraithound.
That's Wraithound. Very good.
Oh,
That's a
boy.
good game. That's a good game, isn't it?
60 to 90 minutes, you know?
Yeah. It's like fucking Lawrence of Arabia. Jesus Christ.
That was amazing.
That was good, right?
Yeah, I feel like every step of the way, I was like, I went from like, I'm excited about this game to this is a pretty good game to this is a lot of fun to having my heart broken again.
Yeah. I really liked how just how focused on it doesn't get bogged down at all in mechanics. It's very and it's not like, oh, just you've turned a card over, narrate a prompt and it's loosey goosey. Like whatever decisions we make and whatever happens adds to what's going to happen to us further down the line. I was quite apprehensive about there being a boss that came out that made no sense, because there's a bunch of bosses in there that would have made perfect sense for a pirate captain, which I made the joke about the goblin coming out, but then I saw the stone golem and I was like, Jesus Christ. But then I was like, you know, you can make any of these things work, and I think that was a really cool thing. I'm really glad that it's so weird that, you know, we both have been playing pirates on the internet in our own solo games, and all of a sudden we're back in this nautical adventure. It's following us around. But yeah, I think that's such a good game. And I really like the idea of if you don't die and don't get sent in ghostlight across the horizon, then doing various haunts across a character's lifespan is a super interesting idea.
Yeah, I agree. It makes me want to spin off a whole new show.
Well, yeah, a prequel adventure, the first adventure of the Blackwood Boys, I think would be super fun. Let's not keep our audience any longer, because this has gotten quite long anyway. But I think it was well worth it, and I had a really good time, Steve. If you guys want to check out Wraithound, please go into the down below. You'll find links to all that stuff. Buy it, play it, and enjoy it. We'll be back in November, but until then, bye.
So long.